Yo, the streets are talking and the web is on fire. DJ Akademiks just dropped reactions to the latest bombshell on Lil Durk, and it's bigger than anyone imagined. The feds are allegedly trying to twist his own lyrics against him. Yeah, you heard that right. Words from his songs, verses he spit on tracks, are now being dissected like evidence in a courtroom. This isn't just music, it's a legal battlefield, a street credibility test, and a rap culture shockwave all at once. Imagine the tension. Lyrics that once hyped the streets are now being analyzed line by federal investigators. Every rhyme, every bar, every verse is under a microscope. DJ Akademiks breaks it down live, giving insight, context, and hot takes that no one else is saying. The whole scene is watching, fans, rivals, allies, and haters alike. Every reaction online is exploding. Clips, debates, memes, and viral threads are spreading like wildfire. This isn't just a Lil Durk problem, it's a warning to the entire hip-hop world. What you say in your bars can follow you into the courtroom. Every verse, every metaphor, every diss track now carries real consequences beyond the mic. The streets, social media, and even the industry are watching closely. So pay attention. DJ Akademiks is breaking it down. The feds are lurking. And Lil Durk? He's in the hot seat, defending his legacy while the world scrutinizes every word he's ever spit. This is rap, this is law, this is streets colliding with reality, and it's shaking the culture to its core. The streets were buzzing, social media was lit, and DJ Akademiks had just dropped the kind of reaction that got everyone talking. Lil Durk, one of the hottest names in rap, suddenly found himself at the center of a storm bigger than just music. The feds were allegedly trying to use his lyrics against him, lines from songs, verses he spat on tracks, now being dissected like evidence in a court case. For the fans, this was shocking. For the streets, it was a warning. Every bar, every rhyme, every diss track could now carry consequences far beyond streaming numbers and YouTube views. Akademiks didn't hold back. With his usual edge, he broke down the implications, explaining how authorities might interpret metaphor, street references, and storytelling as proof of alleged activity. His analysis was sharp, his tone cutting, and the reaction was immediate. Fans clipped every moment, screenshots flew across Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, and debates exploded in comment sections and forums. People were dissecting every line of Lil Durk's catalog, replaying verses and questioning whether certain bars could actually be considered evidence. But this wasn't just a legal issue, it was a cultural earthquake. In hip-hop, lyrics are a form of expression, a reflection of life, the streets, struggles, and triumphs. To see them twisted in courtrooms, to imagine authorities using them as evidence, shook the community to its core. Loyalty, respect, and credibility were all on the line. Rappers, managers, fans, and even casual observers were forced to reconsider how art intersects with reality, how music could become a weapon, and how words, once just entertainment, now carried real-world stakes. The clubhouse of social media, as Akademiks pointed out, had erupted. Live discussions, heated arguments, and immediate analysis flooded the feeds. Influencers debated the ethics, street heads dissected the legal implications, and fans argued about whether Lil Durk's verses should even be considered literal. Clips of Akademiks' reactions went viral within hours. His ability to mix humor, insight, and brutal honesty kept the audience glued to the screen. Every comment, every like, every share magnified the drama. Meanwhile, inside the industry, the tension was palpable. Managers and legal teams were quietly analyzing Durk's catalog. Some artists started reconsidering what they put in lyrics, realizing that the stakes had changed. Every verse about the streets, every diss track aimed at rivals, every boast of influence could now be examined under a legal lens. This wasn't paranoia, it was a stark reality check. Hip-hop culture had long thrived on storytelling, bravado, and metaphor, but now, those tools could be weaponized against the very people who wielded them. DJ Akademiks highlighted the deeper issue, the intersection of music, street credibility, and the law. He explained how prosecutors might cherry-pick lines, take metaphors literally, and present them to a jury as factual statements. In the streets, that's almost unthinkable. Lyrics have always been symbolic, often exaggerated for entertainment or narrative effect. But to see them treated as literal proof of alleged crimes made the community uneasy. Fans debated whether this set a dangerous precedent. If all artists were at risk of having their art twisted against them in legal proceedings, the culture itself could be under threat. As the story developed, clips and screenshots spread across platforms. Twitter hashtags began trending. TikTok videos reacted to Akademiks' breakdown. Instagram stories analyzed the lyrics line by line. Some fans defended Lil Durk, calling it a witch hunt against rap culture, while others speculated about whether the FEDS had a legitimate case. The engagement was off the charts. Analysts, commentators, and even other rappers joined the conversation, giving their takes, warning about the consequences, or just observing quietly. Every new post kept the momentum going. The streets weren't silent either. Conversations in studios, backrooms, and social circles reflected fear, concern, and outrage. Rappers discussed the potential chilling effect on their art. If law enforcement could target lyrics, how many verses could truly be free expression anymore? Akademiks noted this repeatedly, warning viewers that this was bigger than Lil Durk. It was a potential shift in the rules of the game for the entire hip-hop community. Every artist, from rising stars to veterans, had to take notice. Amid all this, Lil Durk remained calm, strategic, and calculated. He understood the stakes. Each public post, each statement, each engagement online was deliberate. By carefully controlling his message, he reinforced his credibility and loyalty to the streets. Fans noticed his measured approach, comparing it to Akademiks' analysis. It was a lesson in narrative control under pressure, how to respond when your words are weaponized and the culture is watching. By midweek, the controversy had exploded into mainstream awareness. Podcasts dedicated full episodes to the situation. YouTube channels created breakdowns of lyrics, legal analysts gave their opinions, and fans dissected every detail. The story transcended music news. It became a cultural debate about art, legality, and street credibility. The tension was electric, the stakes high, and everyone involved realized that this wasn't just commentary. It was a live demonstration of power, perception, and influence. Every new clip, every new post, and every live discussion reinforced the importance of strategy. For Lil Durk, it wasn't about reacting emotionally, it was about controlling the narrative. For Akademiks, it was about breaking down the complexity in a way the streets could understand. And for the fans, it was about engagement, loyalty, and understanding the implications of a world where lyrics could be used against you. The foundation was laid. The streets were alert, the industry was watching, and online platforms were buzzing with speculation. Lil Durk's legacy, reputation, and credibility had been tested, while DJ Akademiks became the lens through which the story was interpreted for millions. This was more than news. This was rap culture in crisis. Lyrics, loyalty, and law collided, and the streets had front-row seats to a story that could redefine boundaries for hip-hop forever. Fans, artists, and commentators were all hooked, waiting to see how the saga would unfold and what consequences would hit next. Every clip of DJ Akademiks breaking down the latest developments on Lil Durk's case was shared, commented on, and dissected multiple times. The idea that federal authorities could use lyrics against him wasn't just shocking, it was unprecedented in the modern hip-hop world. Fans debated, influencers weighed in, and rappers quietly reassessed the words in their own catalog. Suddenly, every verse, every metaphor, every reference to street activity or rivals was being scrutinized under a microscope. The tension wasn't just online. Inside the industry, managers and legal teams scrambled to understand the implications. Questions were raised. How far could the law stretch? Could creative expression be weaponized? What did this mean for freedom of speech in hip-hop culture? Akademiks' breakdown served as both an analysis and a warning, illustrating the dangerous line between art and potential evidence. His commentary resonated because it highlighted a new battlefield, one where lyrics and legal strategy collide. Meanwhile, the community of artists reacted cautiously. Some quietly supported Durk, affirming that his lyrics were storytelling, not confessions. Others hesitated, worried that anything they'd ever spit could be interpreted similarly. The concept of bars as evidence started circulating through studios, group chats, and private discussions. It wasn't paranoia, it was a real and immediate threat. Every collaborator, producer, and insider understood that alliances and public statements now carried extraordinary weight. Social media continued to amplify the drama. TikTok videos replayed controversial lyrics, Instagram pages created breakdowns of lines, and Twitter threads exploded with theories about potential legal strategies the feds could employ. Each new reaction created a feedback loop, keeping the story trending and further escalating the stakes. Fans debated fiercely, defending their favorite artists while dissecting the potential implications of each lyric. Akademiks' ability to articulate the legal nuances gave his commentary authority, positioning him as the lens through which the public understood the situation. In the midst of this, Lil Durk's team worked behind the scenes to manage the narrative. Each social media post was carefully crafted, every public statement was deliberate, and interviews were strategically planned. They understood that perception was as important as reality. How Durk presented himself could influence public opinion and, potentially, even legal interpretations. Akademiks often emphasize this in his streams. The court of public opinion now played alongside the legal system, shaping reputations and influence. The Clubhouse and other live platforms became hubs for heated discussion. Influencers, aspiring artists, and fans debated the morality and implications of using music as evidence. Some argued it was fair, others called it an attack on creative freedom. Every comment, every analysis, and every reaction fed into a growing storm. The conversation wasn't confined to fans. Mainstream media outlets picked up the story, framing it as a cultural and legal controversy that transcended hip-hop. Back in the streets, loyalty and reputation were under constant evaluation. Friends, rivals, and collaborators watched closely. How people reacted publicly or privately could influence alliances and respect. The story had evolved into a multi-level chess game where each action had consequences, and inaction could be equally risky. Every observer had to decide, align with Durk, stay neutral, or hedge their bets for potential fallout. As Part 2 progressed, the digital footprint of the controversy expanded. Analysts highlighted every lyric that could be interpreted as incriminating. Fans created breakdowns, memes, and discussions dissecting lines that once seemed harmless. The Feds' alleged strategy to use lyrics created a ripple effect, making every song a potential subject of scrutiny. Hip-hop culture, long built on expression, bravado, and storytelling, now faced a new kind of consequence. Akademiks' commentary underscored the gravity. Artists needed to be aware, deliberate, and strategic, even in their creative output. The psychological impact was immediate. Artists, especially those with similar street-oriented content, began reassessing their public statements and lyrics. Conversations shifted from casual banter to strategic planning, analyzing how words could be perceived outside the studio. The entire industry felt a subtle but profound shift in perception. Lyrics were no longer just entertainment, they were statements under scrutiny, potentially weaponizable in ways the community had never experienced before. Meanwhile, Lil Durk maintained a strategic posture. His approach combined restraint and deliberate messaging. Every post, tweet, or response was intentional, projecting calm, credibility, and street loyalty while minimizing unnecessary provocation. Akademiks consistently highlighted how this approach balanced public perception with legal prudence. Durk's team understood that missteps could not only affect his image, but could have tangible implications in ongoing investigations or public opinion. By midweek, the stakes escalated further. Analysts and fans began theorizing about potential courtroom implications, social media influence, and industry fallout. Every response from DJ Akademiks prompted new reactions, further spreading awareness and keeping the drama at the forefront of hip-hop culture. Commentary videos, podcasts, and online streams offered diverse perspectives, from legal analysis to street-level breakdowns, creating a comprehensive, multi-platform narrative. The tension reached a peak when small leaks of additional information, alleged documents, references, or interpretations of lyrics circulated online. Fans dissected them line by line, comparing them to Durk's discography. Every new development fueled discussions about credibility, loyalty, and street wisdom. Akademiks' ability to synthesize these insights positioned him as a central figure in shaping public understanding and reaction. The story had expanded beyond a single controversy. It became a cultural moment, a test of creative expression, legal boundaries, and street credibility. The streets, social media, and industry insiders all recognized that Lil Durk's next moves, public statements, and artistic choices would define not only his narrative, but potentially influence broader hip-hop norms regarding lyrics, accountability, and expression. The climax, fallout, and resolution of the Lil Durk drama. The tension was electric, the stakes were high, and everyone knew that the next chapter would determine long-term influence, loyalty, and reputation in the hip-hop world. DJ Akademiks' reactions continued to dominate the conversation, breaking down each development and adding perspective, context, and analysis that the streets and fans devoured. This was no longer just about lyrics. It was about reputation, influence, and the future of hip-hop culture. Lil Durk maintained his calculated approach, balancing restraint with decisive messaging. Each social media post, interview, or statement was carefully considered, reinforcing credibility while subtly countering the allegations. The FEDS, allegedly analyzing his lyrics for potential legal leverage, became the backdrop to a larger narrative, one where the streets and the law intersected in ways never before seen. Fans, commentators, and industry. Insiders watched closely, understanding that every move could have lasting consequences. The Clubhouse, Twitter, and YouTube spaces were alive with debate. Influencers, aspiring artists, and fans dissected every line of lyrics that could be twisted against him, debating intent, interpretation, and authenticity. Memes, reaction videos, and comment threads exploded with theory and speculation, creating a multi-platform feedback loop that kept the story trending. Every post amplified tension, making the narrative impossible to ignore. Industry insiders took notice. Managers, artists, and collaborators evaluated their own approaches, realizing that lyrics, once viewed as creative expression, could now carry unprecedented risk. Strategic silence, carefully worded interviews, and digital monitoring became essential. Alliances shifted subtly, loyalty was tested, and perception became a crucial currency in both the streets and the mainstream music scene. DJ Akademiks continued to break down the story with his signature insight, highlighting the legal, cultural, and street implications of the FEDS' alleged strategy. His commentary guided the public understanding, emphasizing the delicate balance between expression and accountability. He showcased how Durk's controlled responses contrasted sharply with the aggressive, provocative nature of the allegations, demonstrating strategy, foresight, and influence. As the week progressed, additional leaks and information further fueled the conversation. Clips of lyrics, reinterpretations, and alleged documents circulated online, prompting more debate. Fans defended Durk passionately, emphasizing artistic license and the importance of context, while critics speculated on potential consequences. The story had expanded beyond individual drama to become a broader cultural moment, testing the boundaries of creativity, legality, and street credibility. Behind the scenes, Durk's team continued strategic engagement, carefully managing public perception. Every interaction was deliberate. Social media posts, interviews, collaborations, and even casual appearances were analyzed for potential impact. The stakes were clear: credibility, reputation, and influence were all at risk, and the way Durk navigated the situation would determine the lasting effect on his legacy. By midweek, the tension had reached a critical point. The combination of public scrutiny, online debate, and alleged federal involvement created a complex, high-stakes environment. Every public or private reaction carried weight. Fans, commentators, and peers were all watching, anticipating the next move. Akademiks' analysis made clear that perception was as important as reality. Managing the narrative effectively could define the outcome. Subtle shifts in alliances and perception became evident. Friends, rivals, and collaborators adjusted their positions based on Durk's careful messaging and the ongoing online discourse. Silence, engagement, or public statements became tools of influence. The stakes were no longer just personal, they were cultural, shaping how artists navigate the intersection of music, street credibility, and legal scrutiny. Lil Durk's calculated strategy had stabilized the narrative, reinforcing his credibility while keeping the conversation alive. DJ Akademiks' commentary had guided the public understanding, providing context and insight that shaped perception across platforms. The streets, fans, and industry insiders had witnessed a masterclass in navigating high-stakes controversy, demonstrating the delicate balance of influence, reputation, and strategic communication. The saga concluded with clear takeaways. Lyrics are powerful, perception is critical, and strategic communication can define outcomes in both culture and legal contexts. Lil Durk had managed to defend his legacy, maintain credibility, and engage the streets while navigating unprecedented scrutiny. The story left fans, peers, and commentators with lessons in strategy, reputation management, and the intersection of art and reality. This final chapter underscored the lasting impact of the controversy. While the immediate storm may have settled, the lessons remained. Every lyric, statement, and reaction carries weight. Influence must be managed carefully, and in hip-hop, the balance between art, street credibility, and legal consequences is more fragile than ever. The culture had witnessed a defining moment, and everyone involved, fans, artists, and commentators alike, would remember it as a turning point in how rap, reputation, and reality intersect. Yo, the streets are shook and the internet won't stop buzzing. Lil Durk just faced allegations that the feds are trying to use his own lyrics against him, and DJ Akademiks broke it down for the culture. This isn't just news, it's a masterclass in strategy, reputation, and street credibility. If you're serious about hip-hop and want to understand the real stakes, you need to pay attention. Here's the move. Smash that like button if you felt the tension, if the lyrics got twisted, or if Durk's responses shocked you. Then subscribe and turn on notifications because drama like this moves fast, and you don't want to miss the next update. Drop a comment below and tell the world, was Lil Durk right to stay calm and calculated? Are the feds overstepping by trying to weaponize lyrics? Your opinion counts. This story isn't just about one rapper, it's about the intersection of art, law, and street culture. Every bar, verse, and diss track now carries weight beyond the mic. Share this with your crew, because the streets are watching, the industry is listening, and the fans are debating. Lil Durk just defended his legacy, Akademiks just exposed the drama, and the world is paying attention. Don't blink, you might miss the next twist. Remember, credibility is power, perception is everything, and strategy wins the game. Watch, comment, and share. The saga is real, and you want to be part of the conversation.